NVIDIA need no introduction. The tech semiconductor sector struggling at the moment, as are a lot of other markets. Now, they've got earnings out on the 25th, so we could expect some volatility in the price this week. So I'm going to deep dive into the technical analysis to see where they might just be heading next. So with that, let's take a look. So straight into the weekly line chart for NVIDIA, and there's some interesting technical analysis at play, and I think you can spot it as well. It's that heads and shoulders pattern there, and if that does play out, then the rules of technical analysis suggest that you take from the top of that head to the neckline and then project downwards from there. That has us moving all the way down to about the $80 area, which is a substantial down move still to come, but I think what might save it is that yellow shaded box area between that 61.8% and 50% Fibonacci line, which is about $155 to $130, where it might pause for a decent breath of fresh air before it decides where to move next. But I suppose if the economy, the global situation still continues as it is, then the down move to that sort of $80 area is not out of the question. Last there back in early 2020, but the takeaway really is after that 50% down move from those highs just in the latter part of 21, it's not looking that great at the moment for NVIDIA. So if you think NVIDIA can turn from here, then we've got a 4-line break chart here with an aggressive entry set up. We got one at $170 and then $185.25. So a couple of numbers there if you are more bullish of NVIDIA. It's bearish all the way on the daily high Kanashi. Our signals at the bottom, both bearish. Volatility picking up from its average around the 50s to 73. Volume also picking up to the negative side. We can see the little purple earnings flag there heading our way, and our probability box, well, from these prices it does say we have a 76.4% likelihood of an up move from here, but we tie that in with the other indicators in that tool set, and the red bands, trend bands coming down there, that negates that idea, although we are at some institutional power zone level, so this could either provide support for that bounce back upwards, and then that probability power box trade comes into play once it switches to green on the downward trend. But if it breaks that institutional power zone, then that next power zone below that around about 80, which we did look at on the charts on the weekly one just a minute ago, could come into play as the next level of support. So very interesting there on the daily high Kanashi. Onto the Renko then, I've used $3 block size. Our trend DMI at the bottom is bearish. Our shorter term signal is starting to turn a bit more bullish, so a bit of neutrality there in terms of trading signals at the moment, and that's reflected in the price. You can see with that double bottom around the 158, 160 mark starting to play out. Not quite there yet. We'll see what happens. You can see the trend strongly down, and in terms of targets based off trend Fibonacci then to the downside, I think probably first it's going to stop in that no man's land between 160 and 130 sort of area, and then it's down to 110, and like we've pointed out a few times before, into the 80s, and an upside bounce from here. If that double bottom starts to play out, then we could be talking 200, 230 and up into the April highs around $270. So some options trade ideas in my first trade broker account using the options play simulator. First up, if you're not sure which way the market's going to go, then we've got a straddle here, July 15, 2022, strike at the money's 170s, showing you that it's quite a costly trade. Now, put $10,000 in this hypothetical pot here, and that's going to cost you $3,540. But if we mess around with the simulator price action here, we can see, if it does go down, even to like $94, $95, you've got $4,000 back 113%. And like I say, if it does move quickly to $80, it's going to be even a better trade. And to the upside again, playing around, can sort of regain some of its previous price glories, then up to into the 260s. It's 160% return, which is nearly $6,000 of profit. But if you still think they're bearish, then I've got a put here, the July 170 strike. It's going to cost $1,930. It's not a bad trade. Again, if we move the simulator down, if it gets down to 95, that's a good return, 290%, $5,600. And another bearish trade, slightly different. It's buying the vertical put spread there, 125, 170 strikes. And again, if we mess around with the prices, we can see how that moves around down to that same level, 190% return, nearly $2,900 profit. So 3 trade ideas for you there. And don't forget it's earnings coming up, so that may mess around that straddle trade a little. So it might be a bit too late really for that play, but if you still think there's volatility in the market in either direction for slightly longer than this week, then maybe that straddle trade might be okay. So that's trading options. Let's just have a quick look at a spread bet CFD position. So why am I showing you this? Well, because if you're not from the States and you can't access options and you want to short NVIDIA, then spread betting CFD is probably the way to do it. But still, those stocks can be expensive. And here in my Trade Nation account, they do something pretty decent called US Minis. Now that is a fraction of the bigger original stock, and fortunately for us we have a lot here to play with. We've got NVIDIA here and we can order it, we can sort of find out the information, we get leverage on the trade as well, a margin of 7.5%, so you've probably got 12ish so to 1 leverage, which is pretty good for a stock. Minimum trade size 0.1, so small trade size as well. So if you're from elsewhere in the world and want to do a spread bet, go short NVIDIA, then have a think about spread betting CFDs. And Trade Nation has got, like I said, this US Minis section, which is really quite handy if you want to get into these stocks to the downside and you haven't got a big account balance. So a score for NVIDIA then, based off the technicals, it's bearish at the moment. If you are feeling a bit more bullish, then up in top right we've got some 4-line break chart entry target numbers for you, possibilities there to think about. And Req'd, very bearish. The probability power score gives us a 76.4% chance of an up move, but like I say, that's that trend, that red block there, the T, negating that trade at the moment, so wait till that all turns green before trading. And the Req'd signals mixed bag, so slightly improving, but overall though it's still a bearish feel at the moment. So it's not bad in either direction at the moment, which maybe makes that straddle trade a bit more interesting. 2 to 1, 3.6 to 1 to the upside, 2.25 to 1 and 3 to 1 to the downside, but overall it's bearish for NVIDIA. Technically not looking great then for NVIDIA at the moment, and earnings out this week could, like I say, add some volatility to the price action, and they've got to pull something out of the bag to get that price going upwards. Otherwise, $80 target zone is a real possibility. And what do you think? Where do you think NVIDIA is heading next? Let me know in those comments below. Love to hear from you. Want to talk more about it? Then we've got a Discord group, Traders Club. Totally free to join. All are welcome. I'll put a link in the description below for you to follow if you're interested. And if you liked today's video, please give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and bell buttons, and all that's left for me to say is thanks for watching. Good luck with the trading. I'll see you in the next video.